Hello, everybody. My name is Greg Paniwaz, and I am the Midwest Business Development Manager for Mayflower Cruises and Tours and Scenic Cruises. And Vicki Gilliam had asked me to do a recording of our travel show presentation since there was a decent amount of people who expressed interest in being at the show but were unable to attend. So I'm going to run through our Sensations of the Seine and Normandy with Paris river cruise, along with 2 nights in Paris. And it'll probably take about 25 minutes. I'll go through this a little faster than I did at the travel show. Just a reminder, the departure is August 18th of 2027. It's a 9 night, 10-day program along with a fly-in day. And pretty much all your meals on the ship are included, and there's just going to be a couple of meals when you're actually in Paris that you would have to do on your own. So let's run through this, and if you do have any questions, you can circle back to Vicky, and and we'll try to get them answered for you. So first thing is, even though the chamber is sponsoring this cruise and land program, I always think it's important just to know who is the vendor behind the program. So in case you did not do our Rhine River cruise last year, Mayflower was actually founded in 1980. So we've been in the group escorted tour business for over 46 years. And that gentleman on the right-hand side there, that is Glenn Maroney. He's the owner of Scenic Cruises, and he decided to buy Mayflower back in 2018. He wanted a bigger footprint in the North America market for his cruise ships, and amongst other things. So what it did for us was give us full access to all of his river cruises as well as his deluxe ocean cruise lines. A couple of things to note. We have a promo. It's a book and deposit by May 1st of 2026, and you'll qualify for free air and also be able to take $200 per person off your cabin price. What I am going to emphasize, not only once, but probably several times during this presentation, is cabins are limited. I'm going to explain why in just a moment, but we do have cabins available in all category. But if you really think you want to go, I'm going to encourage you to book early. And all booking is putting down a $400 deposit and then your travel insurance if you'd want like it. And then you're not going to owe any money until next, I believe it's April of 2027. The other thing is, I know we had about 20 something people who traveled on our Rhine cruise, and I heard it was very successful. Everybody seemed to enjoy it. So you should have had a $150 loyalty voucher in your kind of travel pouch when we did the travel document meeting. Even if you don't have that, we can look up your name and everything, but you get $150 off. You can combine that with the $200 per person off. So each person who is eligible for both of these would be able to take $350 off the price of the cabin price that you'll see on your flyer. Okay, so that's very important. Get a good, nice discount. Um, so the cruise, as I mentioned, we spent the first 2 nights in Paris, and I like this for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's a great opportunity to see Paris because you do have some free time as well as we do a structured tour, but it also provides a buffer just in case you have any flight delays or anything like that. You don't have to worry about chasing the cruise ship. You can get into Paris and still relax, enjoy Paris, and then get on the ship. So we had kind of a northwest from Paris all the way up to Honfleur. And I just want to make a note. There are some cruise ships that only can make it up to Rouen because of the way that they are designed. Our cruise ships are designed so that you can get all the way up to Honfleur. And as you can see, that's going to cut down on your travel time when you go to the Normandy beach day. So we go all the way up to Honfleur and we hit these various ports, the ones with the white circle, both on the way up and on the way back. So we try to make it so that you don't necessarily see the same thing going up the river as coming back down. So this is what our traditional ships look like. And those that experience the Rhine were on one of these. And what is Emerald Waterways all about? Well, we have one of the youngest fleets in the industry. Even during COVID, Glenn was building a new ship called the Luna for 2021. He has a brand new ship called the Lumi, which you are going to be on. That's the great thing that is causing a little bit of urgency in that this is a brand new ship, and I will just tell you that those who are in the cruisers, so to speak, that like to do that, whenever you get a new ship, they always like to experience it. So there is a little bit more of a demand than maybe in a normal year because this is a brand new ship. And he's also building another one for 2028. So we have now, once this is built, 11 ships sailing in Europe. We do the French balcony on our middle and upper level cabins, allows us to capture a little bit more of the inside space while still giving you the feel of a balcony. We have a great reputation amongst our travelers, and I can tell you all of the people that have been traveling the last few years since we've come out of COVID have just loved our cruises. Thing I love once you get past Paris is you can unpack, put your suitcase away, and you are done, and let the cruise ship kind of be your floating hotel, getting you to all these different ports and destinations without having to pack and repack your suitcase, etc. And you're going to find the way that we structure this, almost everything is included in your price. So that cabin price that you see, that's pretty much all you're going to have to spend as far as things that are part of the normal routine. Obviously, if you want souvenirs, we do offer a couple of extra, what we call additional tours beyond the touring that you get in each location. Or if you want a massage, maybe a drink up in the lounge in the evening. Those are about the only things that are really an extra charge. But all the meals on the ship are included. You get beer, wine, soft drinks with lunch and dinner. As I said, there's included touring in each port. The port charges are included. Staff gratuities are included. Very important. A lot of cruise lines kind of break those out. So you'll get no envelopes. You'll have no emphasis by the cruise director to make sure that you tip your waiters and cabin steward, etc. And again, if you book before May 1st, you'll get that free air deadline. I'm a free air promo. So this is actually what the Lumi is going to look like. As you can see, it's a little bit of an upscaled, kind of a sleek design. And I forgot, I'm going to go back one slide here, if I can. Nope, I can't. So just if you'll let me say this. The Lumi, if for any of those people who have been on the Rhine or the Danube or any other cruise ship, even if it's not with ours, most of these ships are about 190 passengers. The Lumi is only 130. So you have about a third less capacity to actually have people on the ship. And that's another reason there's a supply and demand issue is because the ship is smaller, it's more intimate, it's just you and 129 other guests. Since we're on this, these are the cabins. If you want to get on the cruise at the lowest possible price, these Category D and Category E are on the lower level. And the big difference is the cabin is smaller and it has the rectangular window, as you can see there. And you see that kind of wood trim in the middle. You are partly below water, but again, you're not in the ocean. You are on this nice calm river. So if you want to get on at the lowest price, this is what you'd want to do. Most people, though, go for the category A, B, and C cabins. Now, category C and B are on the middle level, and the category A are on the top level. All of them are the same size cabin, and they all have this panoramic window. And so you'll see the pricing on category B and C is exactly the same. And the panoramic window, the way it works is you see that kind of wood trim in the middle of the window again. You press a button, and the top part of the window comes down to make an open air balcony. You have a nice little sitting area there, which my wife and I, the last time we did a cruise, which was the Rhine last year, we use this, on and off, maybe before happy hour or in the middle of the afternoon. We'd grab a coffee or maybe have a glass of wine and just kind of sit there and enjoy the view. If you're interested, there are some larger suites, the grand balcony suite, and then there's an owner one bedroom suite that also has an additional parlor area as well. And one quick reminder, the luggage storage goes under the bed. I took about 2 or 3 cruises before I actually realized this, so I'd always put my luggage just against the wall, but you can put all your clothes in the cabinets, the drawers, the closets, and then put your luggage under the bed. So uh, let's kind of take a lap around the ship here. Even though I don't have the new ship to show you, I will show you what our traditional ships are. So you're going to have a great crew. They're going to be from all over the world, but they're going to have two main things that you'll want to know. One is that they all speak English. We cater to the English-speaking crowd, U.S., Australia, the U.K. markets, as well as their job is to make sure that you are having a great time, right? So whatever it is that you need, if you want an extra glass of wine, if you need an extra dessert, if you need something put in your cabin from your cabin steward, just ask your staff because they are fantastic. And I have to throw in, uh, have to throw in, ah, skip that. Well, I was going to throw in a picture of our staff, but I unfortunately overran it. So let's just keep moving on here. So Reflections Restaurant is the restaurant. It is restaurant style seating. It is restaurant style and restaurant quality food and service. You get a limited a la carte menu with appetizer, dinner, and dessert every night. We have a daytime pool that turns into an evening cinema. The pool is not large, but since you're going in August, you may want to bring a swimsuit and use it at times. The fitness center, it's not large, but it does have all the modern equipment. So if you're into working out, there's an opportunity to do so. And the Horizon Bar, as well as the Horizon Lounge, are two areas that you'll probably spend a certain amount of time for no other reason than sometimes it's a gathering point, but it's always where we do our port talks in the evening. Cruise director will get you there, so I want to make sure you go to those because that's where they tell you what's coming up, where you have to be, what type of touring, what time, maybe weather updates, bring your listening devices, whatever it is, but make sure you hit the port talk every day so you know what's going on. I mentioned massages, they are an additional charge, but we do offer them on most of our ships. And upstairs, the sun deck. August should be a great time when we're cruising. You may want to come up here. You just kind of hang out. You get a 360 view of the river and all the things that are going on around you. And every once in a while, if we get a nice day, like you may have in August, they'll do a barbecue upstairs and get you out of the restaurant and do a great barbecue with burgers and brats and all those kind of things. And lastly, I mentioned the personal listening devices. We do use those on our tours, and it makes it really easy because now the tour guide has a little microphone, and you are channeled into the tour guide with a listening device. You put it on the same channel, plug in your earplugs, and then you can actually hear her so that he or she doesn't have to yell and kind of scream and tell you about things. They can just talk to you in a normal voice. So let's go on to the actual program. So Vicky has arranged to have your local transfer to and from the Little Rock Airport included in the price of your cabin. And that makes it easy. You don't have to worry about driving up there. You don't have to worry about parking. You just go to the designated location that Vicky mentions, and we'll get you up to the airport. You'll take a group flight to Paris, and then you'll be met at Paris airport and transferred to your hotel. So, of course, welcome to Paris. You'll spend the next 2 nights there. This is one of the most famous cities in the world, known as the City of Lights, City of Love. It's a fashion capital and kind of a city of culture. The hotel we use is the Crown Plaza Republique, and it is a very nice hotel. It's kind of a boutique hotel. It's located in a historic 1866 building nestled right in the heart of Paris. So it's right kind of in uh, the old town known as the Marais district. And so you're just going to be where, when you're not doing your structured tour, you should be close enough to go and do a walk or a short taxi ride to some of the iconic sites. Has a couple of restaurants as well as a lobby bar. Look at that beautiful courtyard right there on the inside. And I believe during summer they do at least lunch, if not dinner, but you can take a drink out there. So just a really nice location. And like I said before, I love the fact that we do Paris for 2 nights before. Gives you a little cushion. And so one of the things we do is that panoramic tour. And want to be very clear, this is more of a panoramic tour. It's not an opportunity to stop and see, go in and see inside visits. This is more for you because Paris is such a big city. There's so many iconic sites. They at least want you to kind of see them and maybe be able to at least take a picture in case you don't get around to all of them. But whether it's the Arc de Triomphe, the Louvre, the Place Vendôme, the Opera, all of these places you'll at least get to kind of see and hear about them. And yes, we will take you down to the trendy district of Les Marais. Again, you can probably walk there when you have your own time. But this is the old town part of France, and one of the interesting things is there was actually at one point in time they were going to kind of knock all this down. There was a gentleman who really wanted Paris to be a modern city, and the patrons, the people of Paris protested, and they prevented them from knocking down this part of Paris. So it really is kind of the place to be. The Champs-Élysées, which is the famous avenue, as well as you'll at least get to see the Eiffel Tower. And you should be within kind of a short taxi ride if you did want to try and go up in the Eiffel Tower. You can work with our tour manager who will be in Paris with you, or the concierge who can help you maybe arrange to go see that. By the way, the Eiffel Tower is 330 meters high, or about 81 stories high. Hey, you're going to have some time in Paris. You should get in early on arrival day, so you have the rest of that day. The next day, we do the little half day tour. You'll have that next half day, I mean the afternoon, and then the next morning before you get on the ship is all open. So if you want to, you can get some things done, do some things. So if you want to go and visit a museum, you can go to the Louvre, but I will just tell you it's large, it's crowded, and it's got beautiful artworks. But there are so many great museums in Paris. The Musée Marmottan is home to the largest collection of Monets, and then you have the Musée d'Orsay, which is another small museum, and it has the largest collection of Impressionist and Post-Impressionist masterpieces. If you're familiar with, again, some of the names like Monet, Manet, Van Gogh, Renoir. So you can go see these famous paintings, and they're not all necessarily in the Louvre. You got to stop by a patisserie or a boulangerie, right? I'm not necessarily a big person on macaroons, but I know there are some people that love them. In the lower right-hand corner, that is a boulangerie. It's just these little, think of it almost like a Panera, where you have just sandwiches being made and pastries, and you can go in, get a fresh sandwich on just some wonderful bread. So make sure you stop by one of those if you're out and you want to have lunch. Or you can always go to the famous Paris cafes. Whether you want to just have a coffee and a croissant, maybe a glass of wine, just kind of do some people watching. There's all kinds of things that you can do in Paris that don't necessarily have to be structured. The one thing I forgot too was the Cathedral Notre Dame, which is now open as well. So if you want to, you can make arrangements to go over there. That's also should be a short taxi ride at most to get over there. But anyway, it's time to board the Emerald Lumi. And your first night, you do a reception and dinner. They'll introduce the staff. They have a 3 or 4 course dinner along with actually a little reception beforehand. And you'll get to meet everybody. And for us, our chef came up, he introduced himself. He told us what they were going to be making each night. Your chef may or may not do that, but I think normally they do. And again, the food is just tremendous. These are actually my pictures, and this is an example of the on the left-hand side when we were in Budapest on my Danube cruise. That was a Hungarian goulash. My wife likes more traditional things, so they had a staple every night that was things like a chicken or a steak or a salmon. So she got the fillet of salmon. You see the bread basket up above. See the salad bar. Look at how fresh it is. Everything, and I'm kind of covering up Russell, but he was kind of doing a little pasta station there at lunch. You have some great buffets during breakfast and lunch, as well as menu items you can order. And after about 5 days of doing my cruise, I wanted a good old-fashioned cheeseburger, and yes, they got it for me, and it was delicious. How about desserts? You want to go decadent? Something like a creme brulee or whatever they're serving for the evening. Look at the presentation of it. If you're more health conscious, look at the left, the fruit plate. Again, just vibrant colors, fresh fruit, and as you can see up in the top there, that was one of our final, I think our final night, and we were doing some wine pairings with a lot of the courses. And again, we're not driving, so an extra glass of wine certainly wouldn't hurt you. So on to the cruise. We leave from Paris, and these are my pictures, the ones that are between the ports. I just wanted to show you if you've done an ocean cruise. I know ocean cruises are great, but there are times where you're out in the middle of the Caribbean or the Med, and there isn't much to see other than the beautiful blue water, the beautiful blue sky. This is going to be different because you're always about 50 to at most maybe 100 yards or so from the shoreline, and you're going to see all these little villages. You may see some vineyards, you may see old castles and old cathedrals, whatever it is. It's there, and it just makes your cruising just so much more enjoyable. So our first stop is the town of Vernon, and we actually stop here. This is to get us over to Giverny, which is where we're going to see Monet's gardens. But if you do dock in Vernon, make sure you see across by the bridge. It's called the La Vue Moulin, and it's the old mill which was created back in the 16th century. Just a great photo stop. But when you get into Giverny, um, I'll show you the gardens and Monet's house in a moment. But this were actually pictures I took after our tour. They gave us like 20 minutes or so. There's only 430 people in this town, so it's a classical French village, and just kind of went around and took some pictures of the houses. And again, it was summer, so some of the flowers were all blooming. It was really nice. But you've come to see Monet's residence and gardens, and again, just all these beautiful pictures. Monet didn't really do a classic garden, a real structured garden. It was kind of like a lot of wildflowers and kind of let things kind of just kind of fill the beds, but not in necessarily a structured way. And One quick note, when he came here to rent out this kind of chalet, so to speak, he his previous or the person that he was renting from didn't realize that he got evicted from his previous place for not paying his rent. But apparently he did, so he stayed 43 years, eventually purchased the home, and again, it was a great inspiration for him and his paintings. This is kind of the famous kind of water pond. He's got a Japanese garden kind of look to some of it as well. This was obviously in spring. You can see some of the spring flowers. This was more in summer. This was not my picture. But again, just beautiful. Whether you're into gardening or not, it's just a really nice place to go. And then you do get to go inside. You get to see his art studio, and you get to see parts of his house and kind of how he lived. It's still furnished. And anyway, just a great day to go to this beautiful little French town. So we head to Rouen, which another great stop. Even though Rouen is totally different than Giverny, you go from 430 people to about 110,000 inhabitants within the city limits. And even though Rouen was hit during World War II, the city still has maintained its great Gothic architecture and these medieval half-timbered houses that you can see, as well as it's also known for its cathedral, and it was the execution location for Joan of Arc back in the 1400s. I love Rouen because even though it's been a while since I've been there, Old Town used to be a straight up walking city. They didn't really allow cars in unless it was, delivery truck or taxi or whatever. So it should be a nice tour. That is a medieval clock called the Grosse Horloge that you see in the middle there. It's an astronomical clock from the 14th century. It still does work, although they turned it from however it was functioning to they made it electrified, as we say, so they didn't have to worry about it stopping and all those things. Here are some more pictures of just the half-timbered houses, just beautiful. And again, you'll get to learn and hear about and go to the execution point of Joan of Arc, who was burned at the stake. And this is my picture kind of down in that area, as well as you will hit the Notre Dame Cathedral in Rouen. I will tell you, if you did the Rhine last year, you saw the Cologne Cathedral, you saw the Strasbourg Cathedral. This one mirrors both of those. It is a just unbelievable, beautiful cathedral, and it was the subject of a bunch of paintings by Claude Monet. And some of those paintings are in the aforementioned Musée d'Orsay in Paris, the smaller museum I was talking about. And just a picture of what the inside looked. That was actually our tour guide talking to us about that. And speaking of tour guides, just a reminder too, gratuities are included. So you should get some great guides. They will be knowledgeable. They're going to be local. Some do more enthusiasm and they're more historical aspects. Others have a little bit of humor in them, but hopefully you'll enjoy all of them. And again, the gratuities are included, so unless you want to give them a little extra something, you are not required to. One thing that we have started is we now are going to have a person come to the lounge the night before you go to Normandy and talk to you about World War II from a perspective that's totally different than what you're going to see the next day. So he or she will talk a lot about Rouen and how different aspects of World War II took place in that city. And I can tell you, this was on my cruise about 10 years ago that they actually did this. And this is my picture. And you can just see a few of the gentlemen there. Once he was done, we were supposed to go to dinner, but there was about 15 guys lined up that would not let him go. They wanted to hear more about what he had to say, and they had so many questions for him. And finally, it was like, look, we have to go to dinner. he has to go home. But it was a great day, and so hopefully you enjoy that lecture. Before we go to Normandy the next day, though, we have to go from Rouen up to Honfleur. So again, this is just one of my pictures of some of the scenery on the way up. And I talked about the lounge before. Just a reminder, when you are cruising, there are lots of different things you can do. We try to make it somewhat entertaining without necessarily hectic. But in the middle of the lower level there, that is Nina, our cruise director, and she is dressed in her Dutch uniform because she was from Amsterdam and gave us a historical view of the Dutch people and the country of Holland, which has some very unique things about it. That's also her in the upper left-hand corner. We had a disco night, and so she and Patrick, the other gentleman in that picture, dressed up, and they spent the whole night with us, just having a blast. Jane and I, my wife, we've had some times when we were cruising, we went up, they did some trivia and some games up in the lounge. Or sometimes, as I mentioned, we went back to our cabin, had a great coffee. They get these great coffee machines that are there 24 hours. You press a button, you get a macchiato, a latte, whatever you want, and they are delicious. So we make it to Honfleur, which is one of the prettiest it's a river city, but it's almost like a port city up in the most northern part of France. And again, they have the half-timbered houses. There are a lot of art galleries and restaurants and shops packed with things to do and see. And what I love about your cruise is you're going to have one day where you go to Normandy, and then you overnight in Honfleur for a second night, and then you're going to get to see Honfleur as well. So you get to see two great things from one city. So you do a full day tour to Normandy Beach. I will just tell you, even though it's a full day, you still will probably think that you could have spent another day or two here because there's so many things to do and see. It is an incredible experience. If you've ever seen the Band of Brothers or Saving Private Ryan or any of the D-Day type movies, it gives you chills to actually be here and to learn about everything that the Americans did during D-Day and World War II. And just very emotional day. And there are so many things. There's all kinds of equipment and bunkers and things that are still there. I do point out in the lower right-hand corner, that is Point du Hoc, which is where the Army Rangers scaled the cliff to try and defeat the Germans. And you will be amazed if you stand there and see how far down that is and how steep that cliff is. And obviously, you'll see the cemetery, very emotional, just an amazing place. And just love this day. It was just great. And again, there's certain monuments and museums and different things that you'll get to see as well. So I said the second day we do a walking tour of Honfleur. Believe it or not, Honfleur was actually built for trade. It wasn't really built as a tourist or vacation spot, so to speak, but it was chosen for its strategic location on the southern bank of the Seine estuary, as well as it was very close to the Atlantic Ocean. But you'll do the walking tour, you'll see the beautiful town, the cobblestone streets, the half-timbered houses. So much to see and do in this little town. You'll get to the kind of the center of the town and see France's largest wooden church, which was built in the 15th century, and it's covered in these chestnut shingles. And lastly, on the right-hand side, because it is kind of still a fishing town as well, we do a little oyster tasting at the end of the tour. I like my oysters with a lot of cocktail sauce and lemon, so you may or may not, but anyway, you'll get to experience that as well. And then we head on to Los Angeles. And on the way down, since we are in France, we have to do a cheese tasting. So they will do that on board. You'll probably hear cruise director will let you know the time and the place, and you can go up and do that. But when we arrive at Los Angeles, it's a beautiful little town. I actually took this picture from on top. There's an old castle ruin, and we did the tour a little bit different in those days. But now they actually take you. Actually, here's another picture of right near the river shoreline. But we actually take you to a traditional cider farm. Apples are very big here. We take you out and they kind of show you all about what cider making is all about. And I'm not sure if this farm will actually have it, but one thing that is famous up in this part of France is Calvados. Calvados is a premium French apple brandy. Sometimes they do it with pears. That's kind of produced in this Norman region. And I will tell you, you can take a bottle home, but you got to put it in your checked luggage. So wrap your jeans around it or some really heavy shirts or sweaters. Put it in the middle of your luggage. Don't put it in your carry-on because the TSA and security guys will take it from you. Here's just a picture of that castle at the top. It's called Castle Guillard, and it was built by Richard the Lionhearted back in the late 1100s. And there's actually kind of a neat story you can kind of hear about as well while you're there, or make sure you do ask about it. Our last stop, we head back to Roche, Guiana, and this is a chateau that was kind of beautifully preserved that goes back centuries with all kinds of history and how it was kind of a strategic stronghold during the Anglo-French Hundred-Year War. But it eventually evolved into a country retreat for some of Normandy's kind of nobility. There was a castle that was involved with this. But one of the things I thought was really interesting is more modern is in World War II, this was the headquarters for German Field Marshal Erwin Rommel. So he was there until the Americans and the Allies got him the heck out of there. So here's just a couple more pictures. What I love about this as well, it is fully furnished. So look at the beautiful, whether it's the tile floors or the ceilings, everything is just still the way it was and just fully furnished so you can see the way people lived throughout those different centuries. And that is pretty much it. Your last night, you do a last evening on board with a wonderful farewell dinner, and hopefully you get to toast the staff and your fellow cruisers on what hopefully will be a fantastic trip. So the next morning, I didn't talk much about breakfast and lunches, but you'll do breakfast at leisure in the dining room. Again, it's a big, nice buffet. They have egg stations. You choose kind of whatever you want. You'll get transferred to the Paris airport. You'll do a group flight to Little Rock, and then you'll get your transfer back to Hot Springs. So bear with me, just a couple more slides. Reminder that free air and $200 off when you book by May 1st, 2026. Don't wait until then. If you know you want to go on this cruise, I will just beg you to put your deposit down and then forget about it because you don't have to pay anything till next April. Vicky will remind you that we ran out of cabins on the Rhine cruise. We had people who wanted to go, they waited too long, the cabins were gone. We're not the only group on this ship, I can tell you. We have part of the ship, but there are two other Mayflower groups. And since we can't hold cabins specifically for a group, it's kind of a, first come, first serve. So keep that in mind. If you want optional insurance, it's $569. It is cancel for a covered reason versus our cancel for any reason, which is what we do on our land programs. The reason we do that is because it's hard to resell cabins if you cancel 2, 3, 4 months out. So one thing I want you to know with 20 years of experience in this business, I've never had somebody cancel who wasn't covered because why do you put plan on spending all this money to go on this wonderful program? You're not going to cancel because hopefully because you get tickets to an Arkansas football game or a preseason game since it's August. It's going to be because you have a medical situation, you're hospitalized, someone dies in the family, you lose your job. you have a house fire, all those tragic things that we talk about, but we don't want to talk about, but would be the reason why you just say, I just can't go on this trip. And if you do that, you get all your money back. There's no issues with that. Again, pricing includes the cruise and land program as I've described, port charges, the gratuities for the cruise staff, the step-on guides, the drivers. You have local transfer to and from the Little Rock Airport, round trip air from the Little Rock Airport when you book and deposit by May 1st. And as I reminded Vicky, our free air promo is for anybody in the US. So if by chance there's a friend of a friend from Dallas or Pittsburgh or wherever that wants to go with your group, they can get the free air too. They may not fly directly with you. We may fly them out separately and they'll meet you in Paris, but they are eligible for that as well. So right now, as I reminded you, we only have 130 people total on this ship. We have 66 cabins. Um, Right now, I have five in our inventory, Mayflower's inventory. I have five of the category D and E cabins. I have eight of the category C and B cabins on the middle level, and I have nine of the category A cabins on the top level. And then there are four different suites that are available if you're interested. The reason I can't give you exact cabin numbers right now is that um, we are currently bringing these cabins they're in our inventory, but because we added these cabins, we have to add the hotel rooms to correlate with these cabins. So sometimes that takes just a few days. So we will eventually have cabin numbers available. But if you want now, you fill out the registration form, one per person, and just say, I want a category B cabin or I want a category C. And once we get the cabin numbers in, we will either assign you a cabin or we will double check with you on what cabins are available and you can pick. Thank you very much for listening. I'm looking up at my time and I went closer to 40 minutes. Sorry about that, but a lot of things to tell you about. So hopefully you hung in there. And thank you so much again for listening. Take care. Bye bye.